Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking the time to spend a little time with me. I always appreciate that. And before we get started in this video, what you're seeing here is the latest information provided by the NHL team. Just going in further detail, explaining, what their new franchise features are in terms of scouting and things of that nature. You guys might remember I did a video about this maybe about a month ago, saying that, look, NHL is laying the blueprint for scouting for Madden. Like, you got to get to this point. There's no reason why you can't replicate this as well if NHL is doing it. But that's for another video, because I decided I'm not really going to go down that road per se. I'm just going to use this video as a backdrop, and I want you to go listen to this actual video. A link is in the description. It's about a 16-minute video, great information. But when you're looking at that video, just kind of understand or kind of try to remember what I'm saying in this video and ask yourself some of the same questions. All right, so let's get right into it, man. So what is the real issue with EA Tiburon versus EA Canada? And let me explain to you what I'm asking. Now, we all know, and most of us would know this, and maybe if you don't know, let me enlighten you a little bit. They're both under the brand of EA Sports, okay? EA Tiburon produces Madden and NBA Live, and EA Canada produces NHL and FIFA, and if I'm not mistaken, UFC, okay? Now, what I want to do first is dispel some of the myths, because people always want to run to these two things first. Number one, the talent is better, and they don't know what they're doing at Tiburon, etc., etc. That's not the case. That's clearly not the case, man. For us guys who are paying attention and for us guys that know the devs, listen, it is not a case of talent. And I'll just leave it at that. There's no need for me to walk down the road so far. I'm just going to say that, believe what you want to believe. Okay, the second myth is, and I'm not even going to say this is a myth, because this could be possible. But the second thing that you hear is, it's because of Ultimate Team. Well, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to say that no more, and let me tell you why. Every one of these games that I'm going to mention in this video, they have an Ultimate Team. Every one of them. And it's not keeping them from producing franchise. Every single one of them. So if that is a real thing, that's crazy. And that's a beef that I would have with whoever is managing, the decision making for Madden. Like, no, you can't just focus on Ultimate Team and we're just gonna lightly focus on franchise. No, because your competition is not doing that, nor is other games in your your whole umbrella. Under your umbrella, you have games that are not taking a back seat on franchise. All right, so let me get into what I want to discuss. I really believe it's a management thing, and when I say management, I'm referring to whoever is making the decisions in terms of overall direction for the product. That's not at the dev level. That is beyond the devs for all of these games, okay? Now, it just seems like EA Canada allow more resources, or they have different beliefs in terms of the direction of where their games should go, because it looks like they've been able to encompass everything. Like, look at FIFA. They have the journey, which is the kind of, journey, if you will, pun intended. They have that type of mode, which would be similar to, or in my opinion, a little more extensive than what Long Shot is, which I know Long Shot 2 encompasses a little more gameplay. I haven't played it yet, but, they had that first. They had Be a Pro, etc., etc. NHL. Very similar. Now, they don't really have anything like the journey, if I'm not mistaken, but they already had to, be a pro, create your guy, and, do your thing, which both of them are more extensive than the creator player that you see in Madden, right? But then they also have more depth in their franchise. So clearly, they're not taking a back seat to franchise. They're basically building up all of these modes together for the most part. Now, when you look at Tiburon, again, franchise doesn't seem to be the primary focus. However, I will give them credit. In Madden 19, they made some adjustments to franchise. They've added schemes and, a new progression and skill points and archetypes, and good stuff. That's a good foundation, which, you know, you could definitely see where they could go with that going forward. Question will be, will those things be built upon? That's always a question. But to me, you're missing the core fundamentals of franchise, you know, which is, it has to be roster management, scouting, free agency. Things like that, to me, are core components of any franchise mode. Contracts, again, the scouting, free agency signings. These things are core aspects, and the Madden, you know, games so far there's no changes really to that. There's no depth to it. Like, if you look at this video, and you might be able to see some of it just by what you're viewing here, the level of depth that they're putting in the scouting in NHL, where the scout can be graded and you're not able to, you know, really know what your guy's doing. Even after you draft him, you got to play him first and see how he performs. See, this is the stuff that if it was in Madden, majority of us that are franchise guys wouldn't even be complaining much. You know, you would still, you know, report bugs, and you still ask for other things that you want to be built on, if I, you know, speak proper English here. But other than that, come on, these are core aspects. So the question just remains, what is it? What is it about the philosophy or the management that is the difference between the two? They're all under EA Sports. So my conclusion has to be how each area is being ran. How EA Tiburon is being ran versus how EA Canada is being ran. That has to be it. Because I believe that if it was an EA Sports thing, then all of these games would pretty much be at the same level, or be, you know, progressing at the same rate. That's just my belief. So I feel like it's a EA Tiburon management thing, man, and I can only hope that these things change, man, because once again, I'm finding myself having a more enjoyable experience and getting my full experience of franchise elsewhere. MLB The Show and NBA 2K are the two games that's going to give me, you know, scratch that itch for me. And those are just the facts. So I don't know, man. I would be curious definitely to hear you guys' thoughts, but that's just my opinion. I think it's a management thing and not an EA Sports thing, and definitely not a development team thing. So that's just where I'm at with it, man. I just only hope that the philosophy and the culture changes so we can get Madden back to the form where it used to be when we all were deeply involved in franchise. It once was there, and that's the biggest thing. It was once there. It was there at some point. So it's not like they never thought about having a full, you know, full-blown franchise mode for Madden. It was once there. I mean, they even developed head coach, which was a pure owner mode type of, you know what I mean, like coaching experience. So you're not gonna tell me that at one time the philosophy wasn't to focus on franchise. That's what brings me to my conclusion, and I feel like it's a management thing. Alright, so that's gonna do it for this particular video, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, as well as hit that like button, and I'll be back to you guys soon with some more content. Alright, guys, that'll do it. We'll catch you the next time. Let me know what you think. Peace.